Hey guys, it's Donald here. I'm doing a video again. I'm actually going to do an album review, but I need to set the camera somewhere. So let me just see where I'll put this. Well, I just felt like doing it in a different location. My camera doesn't fall over. I don't want to show you why'd I put on the couch for? Shit. Okay. Anyway, I'm doing an album review because I'm just in that mood too. So yeah, sorry. Anyway, I'm just doing an album review. It's not an album someone requested me to do. It's well, actually, someone requested me to do 2 albums. I just picked one, but now I'm doing an album review on some other album I decided to hear, and it's Eric Is Here. Yeah, I just played this album for the first time entirely. I should probably scoot up the camera. Okay, yeah, I heard this album for the first time entirely. It's actually the first one under the name of Eric Burdon and the Animals, but really it's Eric Burdon solo. But I actually heard most of the songs, I think, still have the new drummer that joined in '66, which he was on the last 2 Animals records before this, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's the drummer still on this record, but it's basically Eric Burdon and that drummer who are the 2 that continued on that before they made the new members. But it's basically an orchestra group also. But yeah, here's my copy. I think it's a mono pressing. My copy doesn't sound the best. It looks fantastic though, but I wish I had one of those cleaning brushes. Probably make it sound better, but anyway, yeah, down to the music. I'm quite disappointed with it. I don't really like it that much. It's not horrible, but I just think it's average, to be honest. To me, a lot of the songs sound the same. There's nothing really variety sounding on this album. The production to me doesn't sound that good. It kind of sounds squished together a little bit, but I do enjoy the first song, which is called In the Night. I think it's that song. I can't really remember what songs, honestly, because it's not that memorable, so I can't remember a lot. Yeah, but it is actually kind of misleading, one of these songs. They kind of sound like a more soul type. I basically want to get off the bat, I feel like this album is basically soul done with an orchestra. That's basically what this album is. You don't really hear a lot of guitar in this album that much, but it has like a soul feel still, but done with an orchestra band. But anyway, yeah, a lot of the songs kind of sound the same. It's definitely a step down, I guess, with the chain of Animal albums. The singles off here is Help Me Girl and That Ain't Where It's At, and to be honest, those songs are still not that good in my opinion. I don't know. The songs that I kind of liked was The Biggest Bundle of Them All, which is a pretty cool song, and It's Been the Last Time Coming. Those are 2 pretty good songs, I guess. They're the last 2 on the album. In the Night, which is the opener, I'm pretty sure it's a song I'll have to play it again, is a pretty good one as well. So mainly those 3 are the ones I like a lot. Other ones are just decent and okay and not that good. So basically, if you want to, my only saying for this album is just to get it to have every Animals album. I don't know. there's some little bits of songs I like, but I don't really care to hear entirety of the tracks, but I still like little parts of songs though. Um, this album to me is kind of like, it's more of a lighter album, like how I said Winds of Change is kind of a dark feeling. To me this album feels more of a light feeling. It's kind of like how today is when I was listening to it. I looked out the window, I'm like, that feels like the perfect setting for this music. Like kind of like 5 in the afternoonish where it's still a little light out and it's snowing out. So kind of like mid-afternoon, late afternoon, when it's kind of snowing out. That's kind of what the mood of this album is. Yeah, and I think it's kind of a lie when people tag this psychedelic rock. I honestly don't think there's any psychedelic elements at all in this record. Like I said, to me it only sounds like soul and orchestra music combined. That's really what this is, in my opinion. I guess people just have the habit of tagging psychedelic onto late 60s albums because they're just from that era, but this is not psychedelic at all. Like, I could see the cover, it could lead a little psychedelic, and but it's not really at all. Like, if this had a different cover, like kind of the orchestra bands from the mid-late 60s, people probably wouldn't even know this is Eric Burdon at all. His singing is not really that good in my opinion on this record. It's decent. I just feel like it kind of sounds a little older on this album. Like kind of how I said this is orchestra-based music, but it doesn't sound over the top. I'll say this right now. It doesn't sound over the top. It's still like the soul and rock mixed with the orchestra, so it's not like boring orchestra music that's like instrumental, like how on Yellow Submarine's instrumental side. That's not what this is, but it's basically soul done by an orchestra band. But that's all. I'll just say it once. But when I hear this album, I don't think the Animals are even Eric Burdon, to be honest. It kind of just reminds me of like older people like Randy Newman or Elvis or something, like when they play with big orchestras that kind of go over the top doing soul. That's kind of what this reminds me of. And even on the back, he kind of looks older in this way. But I'm glad this was a one-time thing, because then he would eventually have the whole production with Animals members, and then it'd sound amazing. But I do give a plus to this record. It does sound ahead of its time. Not in the best way, but it still sounds like it's an album that came out at least around 68 or 69, because it has that soul feel, so that's how it kind of makes it sound like a later album. But this was recorded in like 66, released in early 67. So, yeah. I forgot what I was going to say though. And like I said, there's not really any psychedelic in this album. If you're looking for that, you're going to be disappointed. The only thing that even came that felt experimental to me at all was, I think, on the song True Love, where it has like it sounds like little kids are singing on part of it. That's the only thing that sounded like it was experimental out of this whole album, and that's it. Everything just kind of sounds like soul orchestra. That's how I label this album, to be honest. And there's actually like old covers on here by, I think, Randy Newman and stuff. Maybe even some country tagged along in here is what I don't know. That's all I have to say about it. It's not that good in my opinion. The backstory of this kind of keeps it interesting though. Like I said, about like Eric Burdon and I think the drummer still being along, but I actually heard some of the original members could have been along during the sessions. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. So, yeah, this album is definitely not that good. I mean, I just feel like you have to be in the right mood. Like I said, how if it's kind of a lighter day towards the evening, then it's kind of the perfect time. But if you really want to listen to Animals, this is definitely not one of the albums to choose. This is basically, I feel like it's a random album that Eric just did at the time because he didn't know what to do. But I can't even really picture a lot of people listening to this. It kind of sounds like I said the orchestra and soul thing. It kind of sounds like people that are into more of the country soul type of music of the late 60s. With something like that would be kind of interested in this album. So yeah, I basically would give this album 5 out of 10. It's not, his singing is decent. It doesn't really have those really jumping Animals tracks or even psychedelia tracks by the Animals. It just really, like I already mentioned a million times, what this is. So yeah, and the production doesn't sound all that good. Like I said, it's kind of condensed, mixed into one thing. It doesn't really jump out, even though it has the orchestra band, so it kind of makes it sound even worse like that. But you can't, I guess you can't go totally wrong because it is Eric Burdon. But if you haven't seen this in a while, I wouldn't worry about getting it because it could probably still pop up at a small price. I paid around $8 for this, and there's still many copies left. Only thing psychedelic I would say kinda is the title, but that's the only thing psychedelic about this album basically. So anyway, I give this record probably thumb sideways because it's not something I would want to listen to often. Maybe when I'm in the mood out in the country or something. It's a good album, but not much to listen, get your hopes up. So anyway, that's my opinion on the album. Please don't give me, if you think I did a terrible review on it. That's just how I feel about it. It's not something I'd really expect from Eric Burdon. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.